Hi everyone, this is Smriti. Welcome to QA automation classes. So today we're going to look into the log4j2 implementation into our existing framework, right? So if you see in our automation framework, everywhere we have been using system.out.println, right? Let's see. So system.out.println base URI plus base URI. So what's the problem with this one? The system.out.println, it logs to your console, right? So on your console, when you run, you can go to your console and you can see those output. Okay, so but what happens if there is a you are running hundreds or thousands of the scenario, right? Something has been failing, right? Or multiple things are failing, right? So you will go to the console log and you will start seeing, right, what happened for that particular run, right? So that makes sense when you are in the context, like you are running the application and there you are checking. Okay, so let's say you ran it, something has been failed and you don't know, you don't have currently time to fix it, right? At the latter point of the time you want to come back and see. So till that time you cannot rerun any other thing on your ID, right? If you run, those consoles will go away, right? So what happens, is there a way or is there a solution where we can store the logs or the output whatever we are logging into the console, right? And what are the different levels we can log them, right? So this is only on the console. Is that a way to save them into a file, right? And is there different levels of the logs which we can put, right? So those things can only be addressed with the log4j, right? So if you want to understand actually what are the log4j and what are the log levels are applicable, I'll request you go to the QA automation classes and then you go to the building a robust Selenium automation framework, a step-by-step guide 2024. This is here exactly. If you go and see mastering log4j2 from scratch. Okay, so this video, if you see, it's a 19-minute video, right? So if you go through this, you will understand the complete how exactly the different log levels are there. If you see here, right, I can show you. So if you see here, fatal error. Okay, so if you see here, we have log.fatal, log.error, log.warn, info, debug, and trace, right? So how exactly we can use them, right? So we'll see that. Okay, so let's go to our application. Let's say keyautomationclasses.blogspot.in. Okay, and then we'll open our log4j2 tutorial here. Okay, so db.json base type log4j2.xml. Okay, let's open this one. So here if you see, I'm giving the definition log4j. Okay, log4j 1.x has reached its support or end of the life, and we are not going to use log4j 1. So we are going to use log4j 2 because obvious reason we had a lot of vulnerabilities in log4j 1.x, right? So because of which they retired that log4j 1.x. So now everything we are going to use log4j 2.x. Okay, so now here if you see, the log4j is used to capture the runtime logs of the application of our automation or our automation framework execution details. Okay, we can configure the information we need and that can be shown on the console so that it becomes it becomes easy to understand the flow, or we can start keeping the log information into a file and we can see the details there as well. Okay, so it is possible you can write to a particular file or you can put into the console. You can do both at a time also. Okay, and since log4j 1.x has vulnerabilities and is no longer supported, we can see it in the Maven Central repository. We need to go to the log4j2. Okay, and we can add, there are two dependencies we need to add to our pom.xml. One is the log4j core, another one is the log4j API. These two we have to add, and we have to pass also pass a configuration file, right? The configuration for the log4j, like what to log, where to log, and how to log. These three information should be present in your configuration file. So configuration file can be achieved in the two ways. Either you can use your log4j2.xml or you can use log4j2.properties. Okay, so in any one of them you can use. Okay, and there are the different log levels, right? I have already shown you here, right? Different log levels here: fatal, error, one, info, debug, trace, right? So similarly, you can go here and see there is off, fatal, error, one, info, debug, trace, and all, right? So if you say at the configuration, when you are having your configuration like log4j2.properties or XML, there you can provide the information about the root logger. Okay, so from where you want to log. So I'll say root logger is off. If root logger is, let's say we have all these statements. We have log.fatal, log.error, log.warn, log.info, log.debug, and log.trace. All these log statements we have in our code base. Okay. So now when I'm saying off, nothing is going to get printed. Okay. Not on the console, not on the file. Okay. Nothing is going to be printed. So when I'm going to say log.fatal, right? Root level is fatal. So when I'm saying root level is fatal, then only this fatal related log is going to get printed. Okay. Both on console as well as on the file. And similarly, when I say error, so fatal and error, both the logs is going to get printed. So when you say one, fatal, error, one, all three will get printed. When you say info, fatal, error, one, and info is getting printed. If you say debug, then fatal, error, one, info, debug. If you say trace, then everything is going to get printed. So suppose you want to put some debug level information, so that should go into the log.debug statement, right? Suppose there is some info, so that should go into the log.info. If there is a warning message you want to pass, right, so you can say instead of the log.info, you can say log.warn. Okay, this is a warning. There is some error you want to convince, like communicate to the user. Okay, or you want to generate some error, so that's, you will say go under log.error. If anything is fatal that needs to be urgent attention, you can put those messages as log.fatal, right? And you can keep your log level at the trace so that everything will be visible on the log file. So usually what we do, we keep log.info, and sometimes we give the warnings also, right? And like we can go up to the error also, right? So we can give those information. Mostly if you see in the application, we'll have log.info to use, okay, in automation framework. Okay, so because we want to show something to the user, right? So what happened there, so we'll be using log.info, and we can keep root level log as the info, right? Since we have info and we only have info and we are keeping root level as info, all those log.info will be shown, right? We are not going to have one error and fatal. It's a simple framework, so I'll not have, but if in your organization, if you guys are following, you can pretty well keep those things as well. Okay, so now, okay, so okay, so now what kind of settings I told you, right? So we need to do some settings in the our log4j setup file or settings file. So so there are two types of the files you can use with the help of log4j.properties or log4j2.xml. Okay, so we have to keep our this setup files or the setting files inside the source test resources. Okay, so when you keep it here, what will happen, the log4j is going to scan the entire project, and then it will say, okay, I have the setup file or the settings files. Okay, and then we have the few configuration there. We have the appenders. Okay, appenders will specify where exactly your log files are going to get generated, right? And if we are going to say, okay, let's generate the logs in both the places, like on the console as well as the on the file, a particular log file. Okay, so we can specify that. Okay, and if we want log4j to generate in a particular pattern logs, then we can also do that. We can specify those layout. Okay, we can specify the pattern layout and specifies the pattern. Okay, so I have already shown you that video link. You can go and see. Okay, detail. It's a 19-minute video. If you go through it, you will be fundamentally clear how exactly you configure the log4j and how exactly you see the different log levels, right? So it's like very detailed. It has been explained. Okay, so you can go through that one. So now, but now in this video, we are going to directly trying to implement into our framework. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to have our log4j2.xml. Okay, so before that, let's go to our framework maven. What is the form.xml, and let's see if those log4j related log4j API, right, the dependencies are added or not. So log4j core and log4j API, these two we need. Okay, so definitely we have already added these two, so we are good here. Okay, so now we need to create our setup file or the log4j2.xml file. Okay, so I can do one thing. Let me copy this one. Okay, we'll see what exactly is this one. So let me copy. Fine, so let's go here inside the source test resources, right? So how we have config.properties, similarly we'll have new file. So say log4j2.xml. okay, this is what new file I'm going to have, and here inside this I'm going to paste this one. Okay, so if you see XML version, what is the XML version? Configuration status is 1, strict equals to true. There are two appenders. If you see here, this is the appenders tag. Okay, so inside the appenders tag we have, this is one appender and this is the another appender. Okay, so the first appender is nothing but the console and standard out. Okay, and it has the pattern layout. Okay, so what pattern is it? You will see when I generate those patterns. We can compare and see, right? And if you are following my past videos also, in the TDD framework we have generated the same pattern. In the BDD with the Selenium also we have generated the same pattern. Here also I'm going to follow the same pattern. If you have some other pattern, you can pretty much use them also. Okay, and this is one for the console, right? And name is std out. We're going to append the type is console, and we're going to use this pattern layout, and this is the pattern. Okay, similarly we're going to have another appender type file, and we're going to generate a file in slash log slash app.log. So we're going to create a log folder over here, and inside that log directory we're going to have app.log file that will get generated, and all the loggings are going to happen at the console level because of this appender, and this is because of this app.log, it is going to get appended to app.log. Okay, and this is also pattern, same pattern I'm following here. And after appenders we have the loggers. Okay, so here we have to specify our root level, right? So at what level we're going to set up or point our logger. So I'm saying here our root level is info, right? So if you see info, I will show you that one more time. So I'm saying info. So if I have info, if I have one, if I have error, if I have pattern, everything is going to print. If I have something called log.debug, log.trace, those will not be visible on the log, okay, log file or console log, because I'm setting at this level. So before to that, whatever is there, they will come, including the level at which we are setting the log, but after that whatever is there, they will not come. Okay, so we basically are going to have the log.info. So I'm setting at info, so we'll see all the infos over there. Okay, so now our XML file is also ready, right? So now we have to start utilizing the doc.info. So what are the changes we need to do? Okay, so let's go to let's start from the beginning. Let's see user post. Okay, so what is our, let me close everything, close all tabs. Okay, so first let's go to our feature. Okay, so user post dot feature. So first is verify the get method called. Okay, when user hit, first is the given. Okay, let's see. So set user endpoint. Here we don't have any what is that, system.out.println. Okay, that's fine, perfectly fine. So if you have any system.out.println in the step definition, you can use. If you don't want to log anything here, you want to log anything in the next, like API classes, then we can keep. So here if you see system.out.printlns are there, right? So instead of doing that, what we can do, so we have to start using the log4j now, right? So how to use the log4j? So for the log4j we need to import two things first. Okay, so what are the those to import we need to do? So we need to import org.apache. Let's say import org.apache.logging, sorry, org.apache.logging dot first dot log4j. Okay, so log4j, oh my god, quite two times it is coming, dot log4j dot. Okay, and two things we need to do. First we need to import the logger, right? And another one is the log manager. See, if you see, log manager is a class and logger is an interface. So let's import first the logger. Okay, and semicolon, and then we can import again one more time, same thing. Instead of logger we'll go with the log manager. Okay, so log manager. Okay, so these two things we need. So first is the logger interface, and we need to use the log manager class. Okay, why exactly we're importing, I'll show you. Okay, so now we can do one thing. So in with the list of our private variables, you start defining the private endpoint prop. Okay, so now let's say private and logger. Okay, private logger log, I'll say logger log. Okay, so this is nothing but the logger type. Okay, so public interface logger. For this interface I'm creating a reference. Okay, so now we have to create an object out of it. Okay, where can we get the object out of it? Let's create here in the first method. So how to create? So we'll say log equals to, so I'll say log manager, right? So we have a log manager, right? Log manager dot. Okay, so dot get logger. Okay, so we have get logger, and inside that, inside the get logger, what we'll do, we will pass the class name, right? How to pass the class name? We can give the fully qualified name of the class. What will the fully qualified name of the class? This is the user post class, right? So you can say API classes dot user post, right? You can give like that, or you can give it dynamically. So how to give the dynamically? So you can say this dot get class dot get name. Okay, so yeah, we can give both things. Okay, so let's say this dot get class. Okay, why I'm giving double quote? If you are giving fully qualified name, then give the double quote. Otherwise, you give like this: this dot get class dot get class name get name. Okay, fine. So it will dynamically capture that class name, and then instead of system.out.println, then we can directly start using. Okay, so what? Log.info. Okay. Okay, so let's replace this with log.info. So log.info. Okay, awesome. So log.info. So copy this one and let's replace it wherever SOP statements are there. Okay, and log.info, log.info, log.info. Here also replace it with log.info. You keep doing for all the things. Okay, wherever you have SOP statement, remove them with log.info. Okay, so okay, awesome. Done. Okay, so now we're done with the user post. Okay, so from this, is there any other places we're going from here? Base steps also we're going, right? So let's see, in the base steps might have some statement. So log.info we have to give, but it doesn't identify log.info. So what we need to do, we need to import these two. Okay, so import, yeah, expand this import, just put this imports, and then we have to define the log private log that interface reference. So private log. Awesome. And then what else we need to instantiate the create the object of that one, right? LogManager.getLogger, this dot get class dot get name. So let's go here and here just log4j. I can do it here. Okay, fine. Okay, so log.info, and what else? This is the only thing we're printing. Awesome, right? I believe anywhere we're printing anything. So user post already covered. Cucumber runner we don't have any SOP, so leave it. Pojo classes also we don't have anything. Step definition. If you guys are using the step definition, in the similar manner you can put your logs over here. Those two imports you can do, log manager and logger, and then apart from that you create the variable or a reference of that interface, logger interface, and then instantiate it with the help of the your log manager dot get logger and give the this dot get class dot get. Okay, so that's how it will instantiate and then start using log dot info. Okay, so you can start using that, but still we're not doing anything, we're just printing at this user post, so that is fine. So at the API class we are just printing them. Okay, log dot info. Makes sense now. Log.info, 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 log.info. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, fine. So now everything is done. So let's start running and see what is happening. And before that, make sure like we don't have any .log file. Okay, log folder itself is not here yet. Okay, inside the project directory. So how to run? I can go to the Maven runner and edit configuration. Just get rid of this regression and all. I don't need them. Okay. So I want everything to get executed. So clean test. So just say run. Okay. So let's wait for the run and see if the log is getting generated or not. So execution started, compiling. So okay, compilation is done. Running the cucumber runner dot cucumber runner test. Okay. So now the logging is already started, right? If you see, don't ask again. Okay. So you can see one log directory getting created over here. We'll go to there later, but before let's understand the console log. Okay. So let's see here and see we have log files or not. Yeah, it's generated. Okay, so here see. Okay, so if you see earlier how it was coming and now how it was coming, so if you see, so it is giving the time, right? This is the timestamp, and then it is coming from the main method, right? And it is the info utilities dot base steps. So there what we're doing, we're doing the base URI. Okay, this is nothing but our base URI is, this is the what it is getting configured. And then again in the API class user post, right? If you go to this class, this is the package name and this is the class name user post, and from there user post endpoint is getting constructed. So the base URL is getting constructed at the base steps, right? If you see here, where is that base URL base steps? So if you see the base steps, the base URL is getting constructed here, right? So log.info base URI is Okay, this is the base URI, and you can see here, right, it is logging with the timestamp, it is logging, this is info, and this is utilities.base steps. So we are getting the information from utilities. This, that means this class is getting executed now, right? And then after this, what is happening? The second step, it is going to this API class.user post. What is a user post class? You can go here, and user endpoint you can see, right? What is that user endpoint? Here you can see somewhere. So see, user post endpoint. Okay, so user post endpoint, this is what happening with the post endpoint. So similarly, if you see, for each and everything, it will start giving those log info. So this is coming from your logger. Okay, these are all coming from your log. Okay, so if you see, right, so this is the benefit of creating the logs. Okay, so this is for one scenario, this is for the another scenario, right? So what you know with this one, so you can particularly understand. Okay, so whenever you are running it, so you can properly understand what exactly is getting executed, how the execution flow is going to happen, right? So I think 2 got executed because here in the cucumber runner we might have given something here. Okay, smoke. Instead of that, let's say e to e. Okay, so before that, running this one, I'll show you this log file also. So you just now saw the console log. Okay, in the console the logs are getting generated. Okay, so perfectly all right. So now we can verify also. Apart from that, we can go to the log file and we can see what is happening. So if you see here, here also the timestamp is there, it is invoked from the main is the thread from which it is getting executed, and then we have info, right? If it is error or debug and everything, they will come here. Okay, for info, debug and all will not come, it will one fatal and all one fatal error, those will come, right? If those are configured, those will also be listed out here. Okay, and if you see, everything is getting logged over here, right? So this is one execution, and this is again another execution, right? So execution, second execution. So you can see, okay, and if I try to run also, you will see that in the next run these will not going to get deleted. So now these two are there after the line 282 we have, right? So let me run. I have updated the this one, right? Our what is that, cucumber runner to e, right? So let's say our feature e to e. Okay, so now all of them should run now, right? So let's wait and see. So earlier we had till 282. Okay, okay. So now test runs 9. So 9 scenarios got executed. Okay. So earlier it was 282. So after that you can see again it started generating, appending those logs. Up to 282, whatever was there, that is still there. And again these are the new logs that were got executed now. For them it is got created. Okay. So you can see that log files will keep on getting appending. Okay. So this is the one of the best thing, like how you can see the log file and you can generate the console log. Okay, this is how the implementation of the log4j in your framework. Okay, and let's go and commit this one. Commit. So implement log4j. So log4j 2. Okay, implement log4j 2. Commit. I have one staged file. Okay, fine. Don't forget to stage those unstaged file. Okay, so I already staged them. Let's do one more time. Okay, fine. So committing is done, is still analyzing. Okay, let's wait. Okay, fine, done. So now if I go, what is git? Okay, so got 2 times because before committing, like before what is the staging the file, I committed once. So if you see implement log4j 2, these are the files that got changed and added. Okay, so this is perfect. Okay, so now you understood how to implement the log4j in your framework, right? And if you need the details of the log4j, how, what exactly log4j, how exactly these are there, and what is the concept behind them, please feel free to log into the Q automation classes and just see, like open the Q automation classes and open this video. Your 19 minutes video will get the complete in-depth analysis and in-depth understanding of the log4j. Okay, so yeah, that's all to this session, guys. If you guys are really enjoying this session, I'll request you to subscribe to my channel, and if you guys have any question, put them in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And please do share it with your friends and colleagues, and please like the content, right? And hit that subscribe button. It will help me a lot, it motivates me a lot to come up with the new series of the tutorials. Okay, so thank you everyone, bye bye.